Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's today? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday to you. Hope all is well. Just wanted to do, should be a quick video, but maybe not. I don't know. I feel like talking today. Y'all know that I always try to keep it pure, raw, uncut. Try to be very transparent and authentic in my entrepreneurial journeys. But today is something that, normally I'm smiling and happy and jovial, and not so much today because I am here, unfortunately, at the magistrate court, having to do the not so fun part of being a landlord. So, the thrill of the chase and the hunt to acquire properties is fun. Working a deal, striking a deal, executing that deal is fun. Knocking down walls is very enjoyable and relieving. To see something that was basically on the verge of death, being revitalized and resuscitated and renovating a property and seeing a finished result is always fun. It's like super fun. The part that sucks is, I got into being a landlord, not fully because of just money, even though the money is good. Don't get me wrong. But I got into being a landlord because I wanted to provide opportunities for, people who are kind of shunned normally by traditional lending institutions or big property management companies. Sometimes people aren't able to be afforded the same opportunity, right? So I wanted to get into the business of helping folks out of distressful situations and then helping those who would normally not be able to have a home in a very nice neighborhood actually be able to get into a nice neighborhood. You know what I mean? I've been doing this now for 2 years and some change. I've never had to, give me one sec, y'all. I'm gonna share this to the investor season group. Here we go. Okay. I got into it, for the sole purpose of wanting to help people. And then money, the money is the reward, it's a natural consequence of actually providing a service that's beneficial to other people. I go out on a limb, and sometimes there's people who don't necessarily qualify on their own merit, whether it be for finances, any type of income, maybe even a criminal history or background or whatnot. Being a private landlord, I'm able to look past a lot of that stuff and still be able to put people in homes. And, I've had some situations where, there's been some folks who, maybe paid a couple weeks later, maybe had to break it down in installments. I work with folks like that. Even though I have in my lease pretty tight constraints and parameters, I never want to get into a position where I'm not working with people and, have to, evict or go through that process. So I never have done that before. And unfortunately, there's a situation where, family's going through a tough scenario. And, I've been very patient trying to work through things. But what people don't understand is, as a landlord, as a business owner, no matter where your heart is, you have responsibilities, right? So if my tenants can't pay me as the landlord, then that means that my bills don't get paid, right? So mortgages I have on properties, contractors that I owe, business credit cards I had to utilize to, kind of ramp up and pay for these things. That means that those things don't get paid, right? And so it's COVID. It's, all sorts of really tough situations in the world right now. But at the same time, I'm not in a position to be able to be like some of these bigger landlords and provide free rent indefinitely for folks. You know what I mean? So it's a tough situation. I've never done it before, so it's a process that I'm having to learn how to do. I'm still hopeful and prayerful that something will happen before I have to completely go through with all the filing. To where we can just stop this in the streets, restore February rent, help pay for March rent, and then we're able to go from there. But in some situations, Judah Hoover told me some really good advice, and because he knows that sometimes I can be a little soft. He's like, man, you can be a successful charity, you can be a successful business, but you cannot be a successful charitable business. It just does not work. So I'm having to put the big boy pants on and do something that I'm not really happy. But, again, it's just a situation where, I can't just not have rent paid month after month. So, it is what it is, man. But I just want to let y'all know that, this is the side of the business that a lot of people don't talk about, a lot of people don't do. Everybody kind of looks, I know they've got all sorts of, rallies and boycotts and comments on Twitter and social media about, F the landlords and this, that, and the other, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they don't understand that, if the landlord just stops paying the bills, you're going to get kicked out anyways. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because the bank's going to come foreclose. And so, I try to be a responsible, socially responsible entrepreneur. But at the same time, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, it's due on a certain day. If you don't pay, you got 3 months to catch up. If you don't catch up, they coming through with the sheriff. They put that not only eviction notice, but they put in that foreclosure sign up, and they moving on with life, right? And as individual landlords that's got to pay the bills and put food on the table too, it's really no different. You know what I mean? So like, I just want people to kind of look at the thing from both ends, right? People look at it like landlords are just super rich and multi-millionaires and can afford to provide free rent and utilities and all that stuff. And, why should somebody be able to allow to stick and not pay off somebody else's dime? You know what I mean? That's not right either. You know what I mean? So like, where's the fine line? It's hard to say. But again, it's just a situation where to be responsible to my business, to be responsible to myself, sometimes you got to make tough decisions and you got to follow through with it. And, this is one of those times. So, I'll keep everybody posted on that. I'm not going to get into details of which one of my tenants it is or what property it is, but it is what it is. And Marie, you're right. It's livelihood, right? That's my livelihood. So, there are times where I work out payment arrangements where, give me a little bit this week, give me the rest the following week or whatever the case is. And I get it. People losing their jobs, people catching COVID, people got all sorts of situations like that. But at the same time, not to be callous or insensitive or anything like that, my creditors do not care about anything that's happening in my life or in the life of my tenants, right? They want their money. And so, what I need to do is either, hopefully our family is able to, get some much needed funds and relief from all these, from the unemployment agency or from, all these various outreaches designed to help people with rental assistance. Hopefully that comes through. Again, I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I had to drag myself down here. You know what I mean? But it is kind of what it is. Sadly, I do not have landlord's insurance, man. Unfortunately, I don't have that. I think that's an extra rider. If the house, something were to happen to the house and, the folks obviously couldn't live in it, they would cover my rent until the house is rebuilt. But in this situation, just for non-payment, I don't have insurance for that. So, it is what it is. We'll get it done. But just want to give people kind of a look at both sides of it. Yeah, it's fun buying properties. It's fun renovating them. It's cool looking for the right family to put into these houses. But then it's the other side of the business where, it's decisions got to be made. I got to move forward. And I need to either get paid or get the property back in a position to get someone else in there that can pay. And it's never, ever personal. I mean, this is a beautiful family. I got to know them fairly well over time. And, it's absolutely nothing personal. Still love them. Whether it goes good or bad, there will be no ill will or, content and or harsh feelings in my world. But, everybody got to eat, right? Everybody's got to eat. So kind of solemn. But this is a video that, I just had to put out, man. So for folks on the landlord side who you're kind of fighting with your own conscience on, what to do, unfortunately, you've got a responsibility to your business, to your family, to your employees, to the people who depend on you, to your creditors. You lend, people lend in good faith. So when people extend me credit, they extend me credit because, they have faith that I'm going to pay it. Now I'm going to pay it. And this situation that really sucks is, by not receiving those funds. And I'm very fortunate, that I have a savings account I can go pull from, right? To, still pay bills even when I'm not receiving the money. But again, that is not a successful business, right? You can't be a charitable business. You either have to be a 501(c) nonprofit, or you have to be a for-profit business. So you really can't work the middle that way, not successfully as a small business, right? So business owners, landlords, you owe it to yourself to do what you have to do. You check your emotions. I had to check my emotions, and just detach and look at it from a business. On the tenant side, I hope you all can understand that it's not personal, it's business, right? And if you were in a situation where you had to decide, which unfortunately people are having to decide that, right? So as a tenant, if you're renting, you are making a decision, right? You're making a decision on who you are going to feed, right? Are you going to feed your family and the funds that you do have, make sure that you and your family eat? Or are you going to pay the landlord? Are you going to pay the water bill or the electric bill, right? Most people choose to make sure you have food and provisions for your family, right? And I understand that. That is understandable. That is honorable. I get that, right? So whereas people are always talking about, the landlord can afford it. They can do this. I got to feed my family. Well, on the flip side of that, I got to feed me and my family, right? So landlords have to feed them and their family. So, who's right, who's wrong? I mean, it's really subjective. It's up to, the interpreter. But that is something that I think it would be a lot of transparent for everybody can, understand that. Well, I thank you for respecting it. I try to be as transparent as I can, man. I fight with myself on certain things, right? Here we are. It's 19 days, after the 5th. So we were significantly late on the rent. My lease states that the tenants give up their right to quit, meaning that rent's due on the 1st. If it's paid after the 5th, it's considered late. I can, at my discretion, add a late fee. Or if I wanted to, I could technically begin eviction proceedings on the 6th, right? On the 6th day, I could easily begin eviction process, right? I don't do that. I violate my own contract, to be perfectly honest. I violate my own lease by not doing that. But oftentimes, if I have a little communication and we can work something out, we can work something out. But at the end of the day, $50 here, $100 there, that's just really not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to adequately pay my bill. So I have a property that, I can get a significant amount of money from, but to get zero from, that's just not going to cut it. And then if we haven't even paid February, and then March is only 4 days away, unless something comes through. And I believe in miracles, man. I've seen miracles happen. Miracles happen for me, quite honestly, often. So I'm not discounting the fact that something could come through and, we're able to, pay this and put this thing behind us. But if not, then again, I need to put this property back in condition to get it rented out and get money, income. Sally, you say you got the right. I don't want to be facetious or conceited, but I think I am a pretty daggum good landlord. Like, if anybody calls me and has any issue, I'm Johnny on the spot. We get that sucker fixed immediately. We're not talking about Band-Aids. Whatever it costs, we get it taken care of. You know what I mean? And so not one of my tenants can ever say that they've reported a situation and I've ignored it or not rectified it. If not immediately, then very close to immediately. You know what I'm saying? So, I know that in my heart, I've done everything that I can do to assist. I've even sent, this family different videos and whatnot to look at how you can apply for rental assistance and things of that sort. So I know I have no guilt, shame, or condemnation, which I had, again, on the personal growth journey. I had to look at myself and okay, what triggers my these emotions of guilt, shame, condemnation, and how is what I'm doing any different than what big businesses do on a daily basis, right? Big banks don't give a crap. They don't give a crap. Like, if you don't pay them for 3 months, you will be foreclosed on, period. Like, there is no black and white. There is mom got COVID, brother, sister, cousin, uncle died. They don't give a crap. Like the gavel's dropping, you out of there. You know what I'm saying? Some of these bigger property management firms, they have processes and they stick to those processes. It's due on the 1st. It's late on the 6th. Eviction proceedings are filed. If you pay a late fee, you cover the cost of me filing for eviction, and then we can we can put this behind us and move forward. You don't pay, I'm coming back with the constable, you out of there. It's a process, right? And so, I look at that from the perspective of, should I be more stringent and follow those processes? I probably should. In hindsight, I probably should do that. But again, I have to deal with this, with whatever that's in me that has this burning, urging desire to assist and help and play God sometimes, right? And I think God is oftentimes teaching me, like, look, you can't save everybody. And when you're trying to help somebody that is not in the right frame of mind, or there's not the right timing for them to learn the lesson that I want to present and teach to them, then he's allowed me to get burnt several times, right? And so, like, I now have to finally learn the lesson that is not my job, nor is it my responsibility to take care of other people and their families. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something that I had to come to grips with on my professional, but my personal development and improvement journey. You know what I mean? So, like, and it's humbling, right? Because I have this desire. I want everybody to win and win big. There's so much pie out here. I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to be full. I want everybody to be happy, man. I love that. I love helping people. I love putting people in positions that are the underdogs, putting them in a position to win. Like, I love that. But then sometimes it don't work out, the way I intended for them or for me. And, that just is what it is. Yeah, Anna Marie, you're right. Banks don't care about problems or what's going on. Like, they don't care. Like, they got a process. They're going to follow that process. It is what it is, You got some more comments down here. They'll take your property back with no questions. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Hey, Betsy, what's up? Late to the party. I was just kind of going through and explaining to folks, just doing a video on the not so fun part of landlording. I'm here outside the magistrate court, and I'm having to, file some eviction paperwork, unfortunately, for, some past due rent. And it's a situation where, I've never done it before. It's something I don't necessarily want to do. I actually dreaded this day. I knew in my mind that at some point it was going to happen. I didn't know when, didn't know with who, but it just sucks. But it's a lesson for, myself and for other people. It's kind of explaining to people different perceptions of the same reality, right? So the eviction from a tenant side seems unfair, unjust, and on the landlord side, we have bills to pay, and we rely on rental income to pay those bills. And when that doesn't come, you have to make decisions in order to sustain your business and sustain your family. And on the tenant side, people are like, hey, I can't pay my rent. I'm not going to pay my rent because I only have a little bit of money. I'm going to make sure my family is fed. And it's really the same thing on the landlord side, right? It's on the landlord side, it's like, yo, I got bills to pay. I need to feed my family too, so I got to make a decision, right? So everybody's making a decision that's in their best case interest. And the lesson for me is I've always made decisions in the best interest of other people and other entities, and sometimes have sacrificed my own profits and my own sanctity sometimes, my own sanity at times, right? And so I was telling folks, like, I've had to learn this lesson over and over and over and over and over that, you have process, you have to follow those processes, and you have to, detach emotionally from the situation and understand that no one else's livelihood or outlook in life or things of that sort are my responsibility. As much as I want to help, it's not my responsibility. As much as I want to see people eat, I want to see people live in great neighborhoods, it's not my responsibility, right? Because life is all of a function of decisions and choices that have been made in the past, right? So just want to be transparent with y'all. Just wanted to share, like, the good and the bad, the ugly side of this business. And, it is what it is. So anyways, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all listening as always. Again, just try to share my perspective on things. You know, am I right? Am I wrong? It's up for interpretation. You know what I mean? It's all subjective anyways, the whole concept of right and wrong, but it is what it is, and that's fact. You know what I mean? So at any rate, love y'all. Hope y'all having a great Wednesday. I'll keep you posted on this thing. If y'all are praying, folks, pray for this particular family. They're really good people. Just fell on some tough times. And again, this is not something I take any type of joy out of doing, you know. So pray for them that they, you know, things come through for them, and unemployment or whatever miracles that God's got in store for them come through, and they're able to pay, and we can just squash this paperwork, throw it away, and we can just continue on with life. That'd be the best case scenario. And also just pray that, you know, no matter what, that it turns out good. So if in the case it doesn't work out well and they have to find other living arrangements, let's just pray that that works out well for them as well. And whatever lesson to be learned in this situation is learned and not to be repeated, right? So that's the way we have to approach these type of situations. So it's Anthony with the Eden Mandate LLC, restoring lives one home at a time, trying to drop some truth and nuggets on y'all for anybody who's in real estate looking to get into it, or just not in real estate, but decisions in general, right? You have to sometimes detach from a situation and look at it for what it is and make the best decision that is in your interest and your family's interest. You know, if you can do a win-win, that's always the goal, but sometimes, you know, everybody can't win. And it's a tough reality to accept, because I'm always wanting to do win-win for everybody. But sometimes it's just not possible in every situation. So anyway, love y'all. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.